Good morning, friends. It's a great pleasure for me to be here in Delhi from Bangalore. I thank Assocham, Dr. Vijay Sachdeva, Mr. Vijay Sachdeva, Dr. Ashok Kaldia for giving me this opportunity to be here as an event sponsor for True and Fair by True and Fair. When I've been hearing the past speakers, I also thought that this conference can be converted to a True and Fair conference. The reason is many of the aspects which have been spoken are being addressed by True and Fair in all earnestness to support the CA profession. So I'm very happy that this conference sort of resonates with what True and Fair is attempting to do, because initially I was a bit skeptical. We are focusing on auditing, whereas the topic is Ind AS, and therefore, how will it gel? But I think there's a mix of auditing and accounting in this conference, and I'm very happy about that. Now, when we talk about, let's say, fraud, how does the auditor communicate that he has done work on fraud? Today, when I look at audit reports on key audit matters, I find that there is no single audit report where the auditor has told that fraud has been a key audit matter. I can quote a recent large company's audit report where just before the audit reports were being issued, there was a whistleblower letter which was prominently announced in all the papers also. Auditors did a lot of work. Indian stock exchanges did a lot of work on the whistleblower matter. International stock exchanges did a lot of work on the whistleblower matter. But when I saw the audit report finally, there was no mention of key audit matter relating to fraud. Why are auditors so hesitant in calling out fraud, even if there is no fraud? You are not saying there's a fraud. You are saying that you have done work around the fraud. By communicating that, you are actually building trust with the investors that your audit has been performed properly. Why are the auditors hesitating in communicating that? The problem is coming because auditors are unwilling to communicate many of the matters which they're actually doing in their work, and that leads to a trust deficit with the stakeholders, because the stakeholders don't fully understand what the auditor has done. And if something goes wrong, immediately the blame game starts on the auditor amongst the management, after the management, because they don't know what the auditor has done. They're expected to have done something, they have not done something. That is the expectation. And auditors are only managing to increase the expectation gap rather than addressing the expectation gap. Second is, when I look at Ind AS or any standards, including auditing standards, or even let's say Schedule 3, I would look at them as the minimum disclosure requirements. Just because you have complied with the minimum disclosure requirements, you can't pull up your collar and say that I've complied, but because that is the least which you are expected to comply. What has the company or the auditor done to go beyond compliance with the minimum standards to make sure that additional enhanced disclosure are given which are useful to the investors for them to look at and appreciate what is being done? Why are we still living by the minimum standards? I think everybody has to make an effort to go beyond the minimum standards and communicate more as to what is to be done. Then we talk about guidance is not available. I don't agree to that at all, personally. Because if you are trying to do something right, there is no guidance required, because you are doing right. Why do you need a guidance for doing something right? You will be doing right only when you have guidance, is it? Otherwise, you do something wrong. Is that what we are trying to say? I'm sure all of us are not saying that. Therefore, let's not harp on that guidance is not available. I think if something right is being done, we should have the courage and the pride to disclose that in the financial statements. And when I look at many of the things, for example, related party, which is a topic I'll be talking on separately, it comes with a lot of disclosure requirements which can be definitely enhanced, which is currently not there in any domain. And therefore, the transparency, increasing transparency can definitely go to build the trust. And I'm sure this conference will focus a lot on transparency in the way things are being accounted. When you're talking about non-financial reporting disclosures, I think the whole effort is to build the transparency and trust. And therefore, that is the focus. And I'm very happy about that particular sort of